Hey, what's up, fellas? It's Jacob here with BleepinJeep.com. Today, we're going to talk about the Eastwood brake flaring tool. So this is a generic eBay Harbor Freight kind of brake flaring tool. It's a jig, it's a little press, and there's a couple of dies. So once this is all set up and tight, you just crank this down to make your flare. I haven't even double flared this line yet, and you can already tell it wouldn't be a solid flare. While I was recording, I actually broke the stem of the die off inside the line. Just another reason why it's just kind of worth it to buy the better kits. With all that said, it's obviously not the worst option in the world if you're on a super budget. You can make it work. You just maybe have to do a little trial and error here and there. But I think when it comes to brakes, especially on a vehicle, it's one of the most important systems. And if there's one thing you're going to do right, I think brakes should be that thing. So this is the Eastwood brake flaring tool. It's a little more expensive. It runs about $200. And it just, you can kind of already tell right off the bat that there's a lot more going on here. It has a lot more options, a lot more functionality, and it really creates a professional looking flare. So this is a vise mounted tool. You're going to put it in your vise, just tighten it down like you would with anything else. Then you're going to put in a lever. Next, you're going to choose the appropriate die for your application. So in this case, I'm using 3/16 tubing, so I'm going to use a 3/16 die. You place that in there like so. Then you're going to grab your length of brake line. You're going to add a flare. And place it in the die. And put the top on it. So you see on this dial how it says Operation 0? It's flush on this end, and that's what will push against everything to make the tubing flush with the die so that it can press the appropriate flange on it. Flare, excuse me. So you're going to set Operation 0 over. You're going to push in your pin. You're going to tighten just slightly. Then you're going to add pressure to the lever. And then tighten everything down. Release pressure. Then you're going to take your dial and set it to Operation 1 for 3/16 tubing. And pull your lever until it stops. Then you're going to set it to Operation 2 for 3/16. So right now you have a single flare. Operation 2 will make your double flare. Alright, then you're just going to loosen your clamp, unslide the pin, and then pull your line out. So this flare and this flare were made with the Harbor Freight brake flaring tool. And this one over here was made with the Eastwood brake flaring tool. So upon initial inspection, you kind of see right here, right on the tip, you kind of have this like double grooving kind of thing going on. And that's a common issue I had with the Harbor Freight brake flaring tool, is I'm not sure if the pressure is delivered well enough or consistently, and it kind of leaves you with that kind of second lip on there that you don't really want. And with this one, it's kind of a similar thing, and that kind of second fold over kind of actually goes into where the flare mounts to the fitting. So that's almost a guaranteed definite leak in your brake system. And this one is actually a little bit flatter than this one. It maybe had a little more pressure applied. Once again, like I said, it's not really consistent pressure. So you could have some that come out flatter, and you could have some that have this more bubbly shape to them. But either way, I don't think I would trust either of these fittings on a vehicle moving 60, 70 miles an hour. Now if you look at the Eastwood brake flare, you can really tell how smooth and professional looking it is. I guarantee I could go to Napa and find a flare that looks just like this one, and I'll turn it over for you. You know, both sides are just like that. You know, the whole thing is consistent throughout. It's one solid line. There's none of that double like line kind of stuff you're getting over here where it looks crushed and all bent out of shape. even looking upon the inside, you notice that the metal is perfectly folded over and inward, rather than over here where you can kind of see it's kind of shiny and all scored up, and that's not going to make for a tight connection. And it's the same kind of deal on this one. The lip on the outside of this is just way too big, and you can't guarantee a tight fit. So more than likely, I'll probably end up keeping the Harbor Freight tool and keep it in my tool bag in my Jeep in case I'm in the woods and I need a brake land on the fly or a brake flared, because it's pretty small and convenient and handy, and I think it's definitely good enough to get you home, especially if you don't have any other option. But that being said, the Eastwood tool is definitely better for long-term use and shop use, not only because it makes perfect professional quality brake flares, it's because it's really simple to use. It's very easy. It's vice mounted, it has a nice little slide pin, it has a lever that makes the flare for you, everything stays in place, it's accurate, it's precise, it's designed well. There's just so many pluses to it, and even though it's a little bit more expensive, you're definitely getting your money's worth out of it, and frankly, you can't really put a price on your safety and the safety of others around you. But with all that said, that's all I got for you guys today. Please be sure to subscribe, like this video, check out Patreon if you'd like to contribute and see more of this kind of stuff, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.